Hello everyone, welcome to BISP Solutions. I'm Preeti, working as Oracle Fusion Functional and PPM Consultant. So in today's video, we will discuss about how to generate the AR invoice in the PPM module, and then we have to push the same to the AR module. So we will directly move to our application to see how it is practically done in the application. So what we will do, we will take two different users where one user have access to the PPM setups and the other user have access to the AR module. We will create the contract in the PPM module, and through that contract we will generate the invoice, and then we will push the same invoice to the AR module, and then in the AR module we will see how to import that invoice which is created in the PPM module. So we are moving to the application. So this is the user who have access to the PPM module. First, we will create the billable project. For that, you have to go to the projects and then go to the project financial management. Click on add icon here. So I'm using the standard source template here. Give the effective start date of the project here. Select the organization, then legal entity, and here giving the project manager name is mandatory. Click on save and continue. So this is our billable project. Go to view and then go to columns and select show all. You can see here, it is asking whether this task is billable or chargeable. So in this way, we can create the project which is for billable purpose. Now we will create the contract for this project. For creating the contract, go to navigator, and then in the contract management, you have to go to the contracts. In the PPM module, you can generate the invoice against the contract. So creating a contract is a mandatory step. Click on create contract. Select the type of the contract here. Give the contract number. And there here you have to select the customer for this contract. Give the start date of this contract here. So this is the overview, and then go to the billing tab. Select the contract organization here. Select the transaction type here. Now in the bill plans, you have to associate your invoice method, and in the revenue plan, you have associated your revenue method. So in my previous videos, we have already discussed how to create the invoice method and how to create the revenue method. In the method name, you have to associate your invoice method. Give the bill to site name here. So this customer have only one site. Give the billing cycle here. Let's take it as monthly. Select the payment term here. Payment term which will be applicable for this contract. Now here you have to associate your invoice format. And in my previous videos, I've also discussed this label format, non-label format, and even format. Right now, I'm using the standard one. Now click on save and close. Now come to the lines tab. Here you have to create the contract lines. Click on this add icon. Now here give the line amount. Let's take it as 50,000. Select the ship to account number here. Now go to the billing tab. And under the billing tab, you have to associate the bill plan that you have created in the billing tab. You can see here the bill plan that we have created can be seen here. And same goes with the revenue plan. I think we forgot to create the revenue plan. Let's save it and go to the billing tab again. Come to the revenue plans and then click on add icon. Click on save. Again, go to the lines tab. Associate the revenue plan here. So you can see here, it is automatically taking the limit as soft. So while creating the contract type, we have selected the limit as soft. Therefore, by default, it is taking the soft limit. Now come to the associated projects tab. Here you have to associate your projects. Click on add icon. So this is the project that we have created now. So if you want to create the invoice for the specific task name, you can mention here, else it will be created against the project. Let's take it as system definition, that is task number 4. Now, when you will generate the invoice against this contract, their system will ask you for the task number. You have to select this task, and against this task number, you will be able to generate the invoice. Now, click on save and close, and now go to the actions. Now you can see the status as draft. Go to project, click on actions, and then go to validate option. You can see here there are no errors and warnings. If there will be any errors and warnings, system will give you the errors here and also will give the problem resolution. Now click on done. Now it will go for approval. Click on submit. You can see here approval of contract BP01 for MC Energy products from Amy Marling. So it came for approval to this user. So we have logged in with this user. Now we will click on approve. When your contract will be approved, then only you will be able to generate the invoice against that contract. You can see the notification approval of contract BP01 for this user from Amy Marlin. This is approved. And now we will create the event against that contract. For creating the event, again, you have to go to the contract workbench and now go to the invoices. In the task panel, you will get the task that is manage events. Through this task, you will create the event first. And then against this event, we will create the invoice. Click on this add icon. Give the contract number here. Select the line. If you are creating multiple lines in this contract, then you have to select the line against which line you want to generate the invoice. Select the event type. Give the completion date here. Let's take it as today's date. Give the amount here. It will it it will go beyond the soft limit, then system will throw the error, but it will allow you to pass this transaction. If you will take the hard limit, then if you will create the transaction with the amount which is above then half limit, then system will not allow you to create the transaction. Now here you have to select the project name, and by default it is coming billable project because we have associated this project while creating the contract. Select the task name here and now click on save and close. So this is the event that we have created. Now we will create the or we will generate the invoice against this event. Select the business unit here. Select the bill through date. It can be on or after the event date. Here system is taking today's date by default in the invoice date. Select the contract number here. Let's take it as detail here. And now click on submit. Now in the overview, you can see the status of this request or process. Go to process monitor. Click on this refresh icon. When it will be succeeded, then it will generate the report. You can see the status as succeeded here. Go to view output. Click on this republish tab and then go here and click on HTML. You can see the successful invoices is 1, successful billing transaction is 1, and this is the detail we have submitted for the generation of invoice. In this way, you can download this report. Now go to task panel and then go to manage invoices. Select with the contract number here. So this is the invoice that we have generated now, but it is showing the status as draft. Click on the invoice number and then you can submit it from here. This is the invoice. You can see the tax amount. You can see the approval history, invoice distribution. So there is no approval history. You can see the contract details here. So this is the funded amount. So we have created the line with 50,000 and now consumed amount is 25,000 and the funds available is 25,000. So you can create the invoice for 25,000. This is the balanced amount. You can see this is the soft limit. Invoice amount is 25,000 and still available funds is 25,000. Now click on save and close. From here, you can submit this invoice. You have to submit the invoice, then you have to approve it, then you have to release it. After this status will change to release, then only you will be able to transfer this invoice to the AR module. Click on approve here. Again, click on this number and then you have to release the same. Now, here you can give the date and also the receivable number. Click on submit. Now, here is a task that is transfer this invoice details to receivable. Select the business unit here. Give the contract number here. And then you have to click on submit. Now we will log in with the user who have access to the AR module. So this is the user who have access to the receivable module. Go to the receivable workbench area. And then go to the billing workbench. In the task panel, go to the manage transaction task. First, you have to run the process from the scheduled processes. Go to the tools and then go to the scheduled processes. Click on schedule new process and then click on search. The process name is import receivables transaction using auto invoice. Now click on OK. I think so it is already going on. Let's check the invoice in the manage transaction task. Go to the billing workbench area under receivables. This is the task that is manage transaction. Now here you have to select the business unit and here you have to select the transaction source. Go to the contracts again. Go to the invoices workbench area and then go to the task panel. Then click on transfer invoice details to receivables. So we have filled out all the mandatory information. Again, go to the schedule processes. Try to run the process again. Here you have to mention the business unit. It is not a mandatory field, but it is recommended that you should select the business unit here. Now here you have to select the transaction source. from where you want to import your AR invoice. So we want to import our AR invoice from the projects module. You can see here, this is the transaction source that we have used. This is the default date, and rest of the fields are not mandatory. So I am moving ahead with only the mandatory details. Click on submit. Click on OK. Refresh this page. Let's check under receivable workbench whether this invoice is imported or not. So you can see here this invoice is imported. So in this way, you can create the invoice in the PPM module, and then you can import the same into the AR module. Thank you so much for watching the session.